Hi everyone, Noah here. So in one of the recent videos where I was playing, I had tuned a 7-limit tuning from C. I retuned the lava chord. It's kind of clavichord-like instrument. But now I tuned it based on G. So the same 7-limit tuning, so I'm going to go over it quickly, and then in this video I want to talk about the Dorian mode that happens in this, or the second mode, and the different ways that this 7-limit tuning can affect this type of minor scale, starting on the second note of this tuning. So if we start on the G, we have the first 4/5 tuned in order. So we have the 3/2 perfect fifth, the 9/8 just major second, and then we have the Pythagorean major sixth. So we also tune the major third to the 5/4 to get the just major triad. So when that happens, we're not going to get a perfect fourth between the third and the sixth, which is fine. That's what's going on. But between the second and the fifth, we are going to get a minor chord. And we're tuning a fourth from the root, and then we're tuning the harmonic seventh. So we get this really nice kind of root chord of the harmonic seventh, and I decided to tune the major seventh just as well. So we have a perfect fifth from the third, and then a just major triad, just major third from the fifth. So that means that we have a few just chords here. We have the root. We have a just minor on the 3, a just minor on the 2, and a just major on the 5. So the 6th chord, we're gonna get, it's not gonna be in tune. And so from the 7th, from the minor 7th, the harmonic 7th, the just 7/4, I've tuned a 5th down to get this minor 3rd. So this is going to be the 7/6 septimal subminor 3rd from the G. And so we get this, when we're using the 7, we can get a few different intervals that have the 7, so 7/4, 7/5, and 7/6. Seven five doesn't quite sound right to me, but the way that this landed does sound kind of nice. So I'll at least give the essence of this tuning. And like I often say with different tunings, sometimes having the exact tuning is less important than having the tuning sound good in the key and the context you're going for. So you want to kind of get some of the properties of that. So I'm not convinced that this 7/5 is actually in tune, but the 7/4 and the 7/6 sounds pretty good to me, as well as the major triad from the 7/6. And so the major triad from the 7/6 is kind of the way that we test it, because that 7/4, 7/5, 7/6 should give us 4/5/6, which is a major triad. So we get that from the B flat, and from there as well, I tuned the 4th from the 7/6, and the minor 2nd. So we actually get this on starting from the F, so the 7. We get this kind of alternate 7-limit universe. Well, it's all tuned to itself by fifths. So where would it start from? From the B flat, and then from the B flat the other way. So if we go down basically going down from F, and then the C is a bit different because that's the 5-limit one. So, but if we leave that out, or we can get a minor one having the C in the tune. So if we start playing in the G, So that's the seventh mode, or the flat 7 mode. And so actually, that wasn't the mode I was going to talk about, but it kind of gives a shape to the tuning. So I want to talk about the second mode. So with the bass minor, we don't actually get any of those extra notes. On the other tuning, I had tuned the fourth to the scale as well, so it would be a 21/16. And this one, I decided to keep the fourth as a 4/3 on the root. So it won't actually be a Dorian mode anymore because I'm not using that 6, and I want to use this flat 2 as a chromatic note as well. So it's actually more of a Phrygian mode, but a Phrygian mode starting on the 2 because the root mode is more of a kind of a mixolydian. But it's also interesting that once you start to add 7-limit intervals, we end up having these kind of double modes. So it's not really a mixolydian mode because we can use the harmonic and the major 7th. Even sometimes together. Same with this minor mode. So we can use this whatever its major third is. Because as a major triad, it doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't really sound like a major triad is how we want it to sound. You could try to tonicize it. Let's see how that would sound. I'm not convinced, but there's generally a musical way that you can make something work. But the point I wanted to make is this, with this C sharp from the A, it kind of goes together with the minor third. So it oh, this minor third fell out. So with this 7-limit kind of major third, minor second, minor sixth, and tritone, we can add a lot of these extra 7-limit intervals in addition to the 5-limit minor, and they don't really change it that much. So we start getting these mixed modes that are somewhere between a Dorian starting on a second. We can even use that sharp 6. Or we can really focus on the flat 2. So I like mixing this in some chord progressions using the G and the A, and then you can try with this F minor as well. So there's a lot of world changes going there, and so like with all just intonation tunings, we can change any one of these notes and we can start to get different movements, different axes between the different types of chords and different types of worlds, and how we can move between the different types of harmonics and the different types of modes and the different type of combined modes. So this video kind of came as a response to one of the comments that was asking one of the tunings. It was about the tuning that was decaying. So as you might have noticed in this video, the tuning on this tends to change over time. I'm in somewhere where there's quite a bit of humidity. It's starting to stabilize a little bit more, but if I'm not tuning it actively like I would an acoustic guitar, there's a good chance that some of the notes will go out of tune in a few hours, or sometimes during a piece, sometimes in a shorter amount of time. And so if I leave that for a bit, we end up getting these tunings that are kind of out of tune. Like they start at one tuning and then it starts to move on its own, which can really be interesting at sometimes too, because sometimes you don't want to tune everything before playing and you just start to play some melodies and you find that there's some nice beatings, or something that was maybe had a comma and wasn't perfect before kind of just slipped into perfection, and then now you have all of a sudden a different tonality that's still kind of based on that other tuning. Or there'll be some that aren't quite octaves, so in some octaves you'll get one part of the tuning and in octaves you'll get something that's a bit different. So this can make a whole bunch of different types of compositional effects and can be really fun for improvisation. The hard part is trying to figure out what's actually going on in a tuning that happens in that, if you record it or if you just play it, to be able to repeat it or to be able to have that detail within an ensemble. So feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Feel free to just subscribe and share. I'm going to be making more of these videos, and maybe some that will go on Patreon. I don't really like paywalling that much of my stuff, so if you want to support this as well, even a $1 subscription to say, hey, I like this thing's going, does encourage me to make more videos like this, because I don't really want to force people to pay $5 or $10 or $15 to get access to videos that I'd rather share for free. And if more people can give $1 here or there to help the creation, I'd rather have everything just be free and available. Well, for now it will be. So I hope you enjoy this. Please ask any questions.